Right, it's Monday and everybody knows it's time for the new daily races. Now, I was surprised there is a super formula race, which is a category I actually excel at. But a small issue was some of them had rain, and like the weather is random. And one thing you should know for sure is Arabs and the rain don't really mix very well. So to say I was struggling is kind of an understatement. So let's go into the daily race section. You can see we have daily race ABC going to daily race A. In the pissing wet, it's raining cats and dogs, as British would say, as it's lights out and away we go. Looking to lay the power down, it's a bit more challenging, and you can see me very precise with throttle, very cautious, very aware of where my foot is in terms of throttle. Looking for an overtake into turn 1, I decide to back out of it, because really, it can get very nasty within the rain, as I go very wide looking for places where I can lay the grip down without any issues. Now, it doesn't look too bad, but the Emirati driver has sent an absolute embarrassment of a spin into my side. As he goes to give a ballet class, he goes completely off and out of the race for now. And once again, the team is struggling with traction right now, and you can see me with a bit of the damaged car. I'm nursing the car home as the French driver behind is very eager to overtake. You can see he's a bit faster, he's putting the pressure, and I'm basically nowhere as fast as him because I'm really struggling with the rain right now. Again, putting the traction down is just not something I do. Arabs and the rain don't really mix well. And when it comes to rain, I really never driven in the rain, I'll be fair. Out of the 500 something races I did, maybe like 3 of them were in the rain. So yeah, to say I'm bad in the rain is an understatement. I literally never driven in the rain. So yeah, once again, very cautious with everything I do, pretty much making me on the backhand for in terms of this race. Getting a bit closer to the French driver, but you can see he's laying the power nicely, so it's getting harder to catch up to him, and I really again have no idea what to do in terms of the throttle and where to position the car. I'm still looking for that wet line, but for Suzuka at least I still haven't found it. So it's gonna take a bit of trial and error, you know, a lot of exploration. I'm gonna have to like try this section, try that section, go here, go there, explore in a lot of different ways to find it. Now, I managed to fix my issue to traction a little bit, and yes, I'm getting a bit more confident with the throttle as me and the Frenchie go side by side as we go to 130R. We're basically side by side, he brakes, he backs out of it, I get the position. A very easy overtake to do into 130R. And then coming the final chicane before the final corner into the track, it's again taking very easy. You can see the Red Bull behind is very eager to overtake as they go for an absolute class of ballet dancing. I nearly sent it into the wall, but I saved it and I'm back into P5 if I'm correct. And now that's where we meet the Emirati driver. Now we're both Arabs, once again, struggle with the rain still. But at least I'm competing with somebody who's on my level, at least in terms of rain experience or rain driving. So the theme with Super Formula is obviously 1, we're in the rain, and 2, there is a lot of dirty air and it really messes you up. So I have to be cautious of the dirty air all the time, on top of being cautious of the rain. So you can see me early shifting and overall just logging the engine, being in a higher gear than I usually am, purely to have, you know, a bit less power going out of the corners. More exactly, giving the engine a bit less torque to work with, or the transmission. And you can see the Emirates driver right there is going very close to the German, and you can see he's again very much struggling and going side by side, giving nice ballet dances, as I do pretty much the same. Once again, the rain is not my special sweet, and I'm still very, very rusty or inexperienced in the rain. And now almost going off the track, I managed just to keep it where I don't get a penalty, and I'm pretty much on the tail of the Emirates driver as I nearly again give another ballet dance and do a bit of a drift going into out of this corner. Now into the hairpin under the bridge we go. You can see German driving taking very interesting line. I think he was hungry for some off-roading driving, so he went for the class there. As I and the Emirati exit the corner, and he's doing better than me, at least for now. So I'm looking to up my game and lay the power down as best as I could. And yeah, you can see in the slipstream I'm catching him a bit, but once it comes to the corners, it becomes a bit more of an issue, becoming the dirty air instead of a slipstream. Now the difference between slipstream and dirty air is nothing. They're the same thing, but in the corner they are bad, but on the straight they are good. So that is basically the only difference of the term, and again, it will be used as in dirty air where it harms you in the corners, and slipstream where it benefits you on the straights. But again, still, same thing, both of them, they mean. As I go very late on the break, I give the Emmy driver a bit of a shunt, and that will gain me a 2-second penalty right now as I'm lining up side by side. You can see him sending a mini drift, he catches it, he's again still struggling for power as we both go onto the main straight. I get up ahead going to the first corner, he's looking down my inside, he's looking for an overtake, so you know, I played very calm and cautious, I don't want any trouble, so he goes for what looks like an initial overtake, but I'm still very close behind and he's not far ahead, so It's not like he won this battle completely. I'm gonna play the long game or the marathon game and wait for him to make a mistake. Again, I'll have to be very composed, collected, to just avoid making an issue, because again, Rain is not my best suite, as both of us show absolute skill issue into this corner. You can see us both giving many drifting classes, as I particularly am struggling with the grip. As you can see, it's just not pretty overall. There's a lot of catching, just slapping into the corner and catching it, and a lot of micro corrections everywhere. I'm more precise with the micro correction than he is. He's faster overall, or like a little faster, but the correction is making it all majors, while me, I'm playing it a bit more cautious, or a bit more precise. As I go for an absolute spin into this corner, I basically throw everything I have out the window and fuck my race. Now from here on, the two Germans behind will be very happy to take my positions, and going into the penalty zone, they will probably take it, because they are not far behind at all. As I go for another absolute skill issue, distracted by that yellow flag, I got excited, and excitement don't really help at all. So going to the end of the race, you know, I finish in 7th. Not a pretty position at all, but hey, at least it's not last. Now I love Super Formula, so I had to do it again. It's the law. So going into the second race, there is no rain here at all, so it will be a bit more of something I'm good at. So as the clock starts ticking, it slides out and away we go. Again, starting in first, nobody to cover behind. I just keep focused on my radar, and all I have to do is make sure nobody overtakes me. So you can see I take it very, I pretty much attack turn 1, and I go for a small, big fuck up, as a person of the Fernando Alonso livery overtakes me, and I'm back into P6 after that one singular fuck up, making P7, but that driver kind of went off, but another one replaced him immediately. Welcome to the world of competitive racing, where everybody fucks up, and you can see cars going off left, right, center, up, down. It's like a roller coaster, but instead of being on a roller coaster, there is no screws, so everybody's flying. Definitely more of a warplane dogfight than an actual race series. As someone sends an overtake down the inside of that corner, I'm back into P7, and I'm again not looking too good, so it's more of a recovery race. But as you can see, this person has 4-second penalty for, I have no idea what the fuck he's done, but yes, that's a 4-second penalty, and the one in front has 3 seconds for probable murder cases. So yeah, we have 2 murderers right here who will be serving their sentences very soon, and I'm back into P8 as the Germans have another overtake, but it's not going to be an issue at all, because again, I'm very confident with my abilities on the dry. There is no rain, so there is no excuse for me to fuck it up at all. As you can see, basically having a little mini contact here, he goes off, and that benefits me majorly. 3 overtakes into one corner, as both of them go off in the radar if you kept an eye. No idea how that happened, but it happened. Welcome to, again, Gran Turismo, where nobody knows how to drive. It's the theme of Daily Race A, as both these drivers pretty much at a standstill, serving their death sentence of a penalty. I go up into P3, and from here on I have nothing to worry about but finishing the race in that position. To be fair, I could catch up to P1, and I'm good. You know, it's a goal of mine to catch up to P1 right now, so all I have to do is keep my head low and make sure I drive very fast. But driving very fast is easier said than done, so skipping a bit forward, you can see I'm going through the S's here, just about the end of the S's. I'm still in third, but the driver behind has caught up, and it seems like it's Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen back in 2021. So I seem to have set a bit of a fuck up into that corner, but it's nothing too major, no penalty gain, so I'm very chill. And again, I'm very locked in onto getting P2, but now we have a bit of a distraction being Lewis Hamilton in the Ferrari, and as we're going through the hairpin, you can see he's a bit close behind. Going this long straight, it's going to be gaining on me all the way down the straight. I have no idea of the energy deployment level or how much battery he has in the overtake or push to overtake system he has, so I'm gonna be keeping my eyes on the mirror. As you can see, I keep the inside blocked very nicely, or I am going semi-defensive, not really blocking it fully. I'm making sure I don't give him enough space to send a crazy overtake or anything like that. And now going down the long straight, he's gonna have a prime position going to 130R, so I make sure to lock up the inside, or maybe think of something genius and stay on the outside. Now my only option is to stay on the outside here, and yeah, the genius did not really work, so I'm now on the behind foot, and he's covering fully the inside as he goes a bit too deep, so that gives me the position pretty much immediately, as he nearly sends it into me, and there is a yellow flag. P2 car has spun, the Fernando Alonso livery is off into the barrier, and again P2 very nicely. So into Daily Race B, it's the worst fucking race you can think of. GR4, why? Just why? So as the clock starts ticking, the cars line up, it's lights out, and away we go into what is arguably the coldest race on this fucking game. So with GR4 cars, you have one very slow fucking cars, and they turn like a fucking boat. Basically, this is a game of World of Warship and not Gran Turismo anymore. Welcome to where turning does not turn anymore, and it feels like you're driving a semi-fucking truck. And you can see going into this corner, pretty much that's where my struggles begin. There is no fucking turning, especially with this Bugatti. You have to be, it's a fucking boat. In simple terms, it doesn't turn. It likes to just drive. I'm very fucking sure if you put it alongside the US Navy ship, the US Navy will beat it in maneuverability. Because this thing is a fucking boat. It's so fucking slow to turn. So, as time is a kind of scarce resource, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop focusing on the absolute quality of my voiceover, and I'm gonna drink a cup of Vimto, because it's Ramadan, obviously. And pretty much watch what's gonna happen as as I voice over the script. So going down this tunnel, there is again not much to do. The slipstream, I'm not too close on the slipstream, and GR4 is a category that's not much affected by slipstream. And that's because the cars are very fucking fat. So when maneuverability is second, you kind of focus on where... the only focus is that corner leading into the street. And going into this zone, you have a very long braking zone, but it's not too long with this Bugatti. It was longer with the Porsche. But the thing is, the Porsche was actually way more maneuverable and pretty much way more fun to drive. And again, GR4 is a category where driving a street car is more maneuverable and is faster, by the way, compared to, GR4 itself, which is supposed to be a racing category. And then you have GR3, where you have the actual aerodynamical elements that make the car faster overall. So you have a sitting duck. It's slower than street cars, but it's a racing series. So what the fuck am I supposed to do with that? Pretty much nothing. You sit and drive like a boat. Again, you have to be so goddamn slow, going down to nearly 60 kilometers into that hairpin. I never do that unless I'm in a street car, which a GR4 is basically detuned street cars. You slap a suspension and you depower the engine or remove the power from the engine, and there goes GR4. As I'm basically sniffing the gearbox of that Lamborghini, I look for an overtake, but I remember I'm driving a fucking boat, so I have to very awkwardly sit with the car and slow down way more than I should, as the GTR sends an overtake down me. Not much I can do, so yes, I'm enjoying my vehicle very much, thank you. Anyway, on the tail of the GTR, looking for an overtake, so I look to settle here. I go down the inside, he kind of hits me, and he goes off. Yeah, maybe I didn't give him the space, this and that, but I'm pretty sure if he didn't hit me and he actually focused on fighting, or, had an idea of where I am, he could have cleared that room, no problem, because technically he had enough space, but he didn't have the brain capacity to, he didn't have the brain capacity to do that. So skipping into the end of the race, you can see I caught up with the German as one driver spun. I think I forgot what car he was driving, but yeah, he spun, is out of the contention now. I'm trying to get into P6, something to save my face water, at least, to get a good ranking for this race, because again, I'm looking to get into drivers ranking A, but I'm not quite there. Right now I'm in low B, so I'm looking to overtake. I have 2 corners to overtake, so what do? My genies decided to brake very late and send it, so yeah, that was an absolute send, maybe a bit too much. Now, the German driver is driving a Kinder Bugatti. He was like, you know what, there you go, karma is a bitch. He did hit me harder than I hit him, because all I did was really dive on his inside, and he kind of turned into me. But here, he absolutely shunted into me with 0 fucks given. So that's pretty much a wrap for the race. Now for Daily Race C, which is actually a pretty good race. It's just that I didn't have enough time to enjoy it, and I had 2 examples of an absolute fuck up. So lights out and away we go. I'm driving the Subaru PRZ. Yes, very first time driving this car. It's an amazing car, but it doesn't belong in GR3. It just doesn't sit right in Group 3. It's giving GR2 territory, but it's not quite there in terms of speed. So I guess the devs decided to put it in GR3, which again, it just doesn't belong here. As I get sent, as an overtake is being sent down my inside, I have the inside into the next corner, so I'm looking to defend it, and I brake a bit late, nearly, getting spun out. And here's the thing, this car, it's giving GR2 vibes. It's giving GT500 vibes and everything, but it's just not as fast as one. It feels like a detuned GT500 car or a GR2 car. So what exactly am I driving? I have no idea, because it's kind of the equivalent to a DTM car, but it's not really DTM, it's Japanese. As a driver, I decided to have the genius idea of pretty much punting me over, or just giving me a little tap. I'm spun 180 degrees, and I'm looking to gain back what I lost. In this case, I pretty much lost everything. The only thing I didn't lose was the position for the Turkish driver, but he's not close enough to be a threat as of now. But there is a yellow flag, so I made up a position back very closely. So here's the thing. Why is everybody fucking crashing? If people knew how to drive, they already know crashes. Yes, maybe I'm in a bit of a lower lobby than I usually am, because I was SRS, and now I'm SRA, and you know, low-key sportsmanship matters way more than DR. I feel like when your DR is unchanged, sportsmanship, like, it gives you the difference between shit and good, like, yeah, shit and good lobbies. And I feel like the difference between S and B is like the difference between C and B for the DR, if you know what I'm saying. Now the thing is, with DRA lobbies, there is a lot of kamikaze battles, and yes, people do send kamikazes left, right and center, and there is crazy stuff going on everywhere. So I'm looking to get out of the SRA as soon as I can and back into SRS. As you can see, the Turkish is getting up in front, and for some reason he slowed down way more than I expected. I don't know why. This car just handles way more different than other cars I've driven, and again, I just don't feel or don't have a feeling for it at all on this track. My overall practice was, again, less than 15 minutes. But yeah, as the Turkish driver nearly sends off the track, he goes off the track once again, I meant before. Now I get the easy overtake as he goes off, and he is forced to back out just to keep control of his car. Then you have the example of an amazing driver punts it into my back, and now I'm off into the gravel and I lose both positions. And as I look back, the British driver sends an absolute dive into the gravel. I think he likes to swim in the gravel. Now, into lap 5, I'm looking to pit because there is somebody in the pit box. But one mistake I made was I pitted. I shouldn't have pit. I should have stuck to my original strategy of pitting on lap 7, but I didn't listen to myself. Why? Because I'm an idiot. I saw this guy pitted, I was like, he's on mediums, maybe I should pit. Dumbass idea. And I only realized that once I exit the pit, because the degradation will be absolutely crazy by the end of the race. Now, starting lap 6, you can see I'm pretty much on the lower hand. I have a very... I mean, yeah, this compound will not last to the end of the race, at least what I feel like. Now, I didn't get to the end of the race yet, so maybe something will happen. So now what I'm focused on is keeping life in my compound. I'm focused on conservative driving. Yes, I gotta drive fast, but I also gotta drive conservatively. So no shenanigans, no BS, no pushing too hard. So I managed to catch up to the what's his Turkish driver, yes, the Mr. Kebab. As I send an absolute spin into the barrier, I do what I'm known best for, and that's a rage quit. Now going into the second race, still again daily race C, as the clock starts ticking, lights out, and away we go. I'm in P2 this time, and yes, I did lose a little bit of SR and DR because I quit that race, obviously. And overall, I have a bit more practice on a track, so I'm gonna be looking for an overtake ASAP as I send an absolute dive down this driver. Again, I don't know why this car specifically is very good on a dive there, but yes, it is quite good, and I like that about it. Now, this is again the Subaru BRZ, never driven this car before, and just doesn't feel like GR3, but it is, so I guess I might as well as enjoy it. This car has been in and out of the meta. Some tracks it is, some tracks it's that, but it's mostly dependent on BOP and physics changes, and there was a little physics change, and they mainly fixed bugs. I'm not sure about the BOP though, I didn't read the full list, but what I know is that there is slight changes to the physics. They fixed a couple bugs with the tire models and everything, and the bouncing, and that led into what I would call a bit of a change, and that's why I feel like the cars are different than before, because they're just that bit stiffer and I would say more stable, or like less bumpy. So going into the corkscrew, I lose the position to that French driver, but you know, it's nothing major. I can make it back easily. So we're still in the very beginning of the race, and I'm still on racing hard. So yes, I do go for an absolute skill issue, but it's nothing too major. I decided to go back on track and just wait out, because again, I'm still very early in the race, but I go for another skill issue and I basically bin it and quit the race. I'm just not ready for daily race C, so good night.